everyone. I'm Deborah Gardner. Welcome to Hospitality Today Live, where I have some incredible guests each week here on HTL that actually share their perspective, opinion, viewpoints, stories, and lessons, and so much more. And I am just thrilled to have my very good longtime friend here with us today. He is a professional mobile DJ with 40 years of experience and a multiple award winner. And I'm talking about Ray Grace. And Mr. Grace is actually going to share with us an unbelievable overview of the entertainment industry within the hospitality industry. He's going to share with us what events are happening right now, the precautions that are going to be taking place, and the future of the DJing position in the hospitality industry and what that looks like, and so much more. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Today's episode is actually brought to you by Yard Art Greetings. You create memorable moments with bigger than life lawn displays for New Year's Eve, birthdays, baby showers, and so much more. That's yardartgreetings.com. And as I mentioned, my very good friend is here, Ray Grace. Hi, Ray.
There we go. Okay.
Yep, we got you here.
I'm off of mute. That's dangerous. When I'm off of mute, look out.
Well, I am so thrilled for you to be here today because I know you are a barrel of fun. And I'm just so impressed with you. I see you out there and about so much. And I'm so excited for our viewers to know more about you. I mean, first of all, I'm just extremely impressed with the multiple awards that you have. Let me just share a few. You're the best DJ, Arizona Bride Magazine. You've got the Wedding Chronicle Hall of Fame. You are the NACE Vendor of the Year, HSMAI, which we all love that organization. You're not only the Member of the Year, but you're also the Lifetime Achievement Award winner there, as well as 10 consecutive years with the Bride Choice Award for Wedding Wire Network. Whew.
You stick around long enough, you get stuff. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh. So I'm just so, again, thrilled that you're here and so honored with all those awards. Tell us a little bit before we get into the good stuff here. I want to know more about you and your professional mobile DJing company.
Well, I tell you, it's way back in the 70s, long before a lot of people were born, to tell you the truth. And the late 70s was kind of the disco craze. And I was going to Arizona State University majoring in broadcasting. And I thought, it'd be nice to have some experience on my resume. So I actually got a job at the club. So I was doing club work there in the late 70s. And then 1981, we officially became Ray the DJ. We trademarked the name Ray the DJ, and the Secretary of State signed the deal and all that. And the Secretary of State at the time was Rose Mofford.
Oh, my gosh.
How long ago that was, 1981. So this is our 40th year of going mobile, so to speak, doing weddings and conventions and things like that. So it's been a long ride, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is I went to Arizona State University about that same time too. And look, it was meant for us to eventually cross paths. And that's what happens in this industry a lot, right?
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it does. It does. So broadcasting to hospitality industry, we couldn't have had it any better because you and I both have been in it for so long and totally enjoy it. We've seen a lot of changes happening, especially recently with all this that is going on. How are you doing during all of this? Is the business still, still working? It's
Yeah.
magic, or?
Yeah, we're still doing it, but obviously 2020 was a disaster. Case in point, last March, scheduled to do a wedding, and everything was in. They paid their balance, which is always nice. The wedding planner already had the timeline together. They had all their music requests in: first dance, father, daughter, mother, son, the song to play for the bouquet, the garter, the cake cutting, all that stuff. It was ready to go. And then boom, it was mid-March, and the edict came down from the state government, and hey, you can't do this. You can't have a wedding. So that was a year ago, and just this past Saturday, we celebrated that wedding.
Oh, finally had it.
They waited a year, but 2020 was disastrous. We had a stack of reschedules. These will reschedule. So that's been our work in 2020, was just basically keeping track of whose wedding was being postponed and rescheduled. And, then they came in and said, well, we're thinking about the date, November, whatever. And are you available? That type of thing. So, but luckily, a couple of things, the PPP loan, which was very helpful. And then we got the second one as well, too. So, yeah, that helped a lot. So thanks to the government for that helped us survive. There's no question about it. So,
well, that is really important to say, Ray, because, the hospitality currently accounts for about 40% of the unemployment throughout the United States, just here in the United States alone. And of course, it's still very unclear about the travel demand. But we did hear this past Sunday that 1.3 million people did check through the TSA checkpoints. So it looks like there's a little bit of pickup, but we definitely just, passing that 1 year mark, we've got a lot of reflecting to do. But hopefully it's going to get it better. So when you're contacting your clients, as you are, now you're finding they are starting to rebook, correct?
yes, as a matter of fact, some of the spring weddings in 2020 rebooked, for the spring of 2021, and others, I think it was more like, I believe it was November, whatever it was, but there were private venues that were actually doing weddings. Micro weddings is what they're called, less than 50 people, all kinds of safety precautions in place, as far as going to take the temperature of each guest. I mean, that's how far it went at certain places. Distancing, of course, assigned table seating so that you could be together with the pod, your own people that you basically live with. So trying to be as safe as possible. I hadn't heard of any weddings that we did that came back later and said people were catching COVID and all that. So we've been very fortunate in that respect.
So it sounds like people are really respecting their rules for whatever event that you're attending, in other words.
Well, you would hope that they're following the rules. They're basically getting their temperature checked because that's the only way they can get into the wedding reception.
Ah, okay. Now I've heard this because with the vaccine and testing and everything, it seems as though there's a lot of gray going on right now. I know I've mentioned before how Burning Man Group, which is a huge, huge event every year, has confirmed their 2021 dates, but you can only attend if you've had your vaccine.
There you go. So the liability issue, especially with the corporate events, is huge, absolutely huge. But regardless of the world situation, regardless of pandemics, people still fall in love and they want to get married.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. That keeps
Last
you
year,
busy.
yes, in 2020, people actually opted to get married at their uncle's house in the backyard with only 15 people in attendance. So they did carry through with the actual ceremony. So they're legally married. They could move in and get on with their married life together. And
Right.
then, oh my goodness, it was many, many months later. It was actually in November, as I recall, that they had the actual big celebration, the big reception. Then they actually went through the ceremony once again, but they were legally married even during COVID.
Well, it sounds like you specialize in weddings, majority of it. And if that is the case where it's always going on, everybody wants to get married, that's a good position to be in, as far as DJing. As a matter of fact, I just read the other day on Yahoo Finance, the gigs that make you richer than having a full-time job. According to pay scale, DJing was one of listed occupations. And it said it's very possible to find enough gigs as a DJ to make a good living. As average salary for DJing, they said, was $42 an hour. The top 10 make 123 an hour or more, which I know you're in that category. So if anybody would like to look for a new career in the hospitality industry, it sounds like it would be DJing.
Well, it could be. The access is a lot easier these days compared to the days of the 80s, where you had to have turntables and you had to have vinyl. It was vinyl back then. To find a song, special request for the wedding, we had to research Tower Records and places like that. And we had to physically drive to Tower to buy either the 45 or we could only get it on an album. And Brenda in our office was calling around and say, "Hey, I found it at Zia." And cassette. So, oh lordy. But these days, it's a lot easier to become a DJ. I mean, you can sit at your laptop and you can get an entire music library. You can subscribe to iTunes or Amazon Music or Spotify. There's a lot of ways to get music. We subscribe to a service that we pay for monthly that sends us all the music in all the different categories, whether it's pop, country, urban, Latino. We got it all. So, and I feel safe, paying for it, and that's no problem. So, but DJs, they have a laptop versus carrying crates of vinyl around. So it's a lot easier to become a DJ.
Yeah.
But
do you have to have license to that music? And does a client of yours have to, if they're requesting, YMCA song, do they have to be licensed or you? How does that work?
The client doesn't have to at all. It's all up to us.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we pay for the music, it's ours. So that's it. Also, we're not I'm not putting on a concert, selling tickets to come and see Ray the DJ. That's a different area as far as cap and people like that. But if you're playing for a private event like a wedding, you've already paid for the music. Those are your tools, and you can use them.
That's a nice added benefit there. Well, you have quite a few fans watching here right now that are already commenting. I know some will come in with some questions. First of all, we have Karen May is here in the house. She's like, "Oh my God, Tower Records." I totally can relate to that, Karen. We've also got Lynn Wellish. She's here to say hello.
Hi, Lynn.
There's something must be between you and Marcus. Something's going on there that he wants to give you those funny faces. I don't know, but you've got a few people here watching you. And again, anybody's got some questions, by all means, please address them to Ray. We'll get these on here way more and faster than my questions. But I do want to find out, how did you learn to be a DJ?
Well, part of it, as I mentioned, I was at ASU in broadcasting. So there was basic stuff going on there. I was on a show called Sun Devil Perspective, which was the show. I did some stories on the jazz program at ASU and other things like that. And we actually had to go down to Cool FM in Phoenix and we put the show on there. So I was one of the co-hosts on Sun Devil Perspective.
Yes, I remember that.
My
I remember that.
goodness. At the time, we went out and, we got the interviews and stuff like that, and we were splicing them on a splicing block, the audio, and then taping oh, Lordy, the reel-to-reel. They should be in a museum. But anyway, long story short, I was working in the club, so I was getting experience with turntables, mixing music, using the microphone, 2 turntables and a microphone, that type of thing. And then people were asking me to do their parties. So I was doing private parties. My friends were starting to get married, so I was starting to do their weddings. I actually had worked at a resort while also DJing at the club. So I was kind of burning the candle at all ends. Del Webb's La Posada, going back in time. I was a banquet captain there, and the banquet catering director said, "Hey, we've got this 50s party coming up. We have a 50s band. You can DJ the breaks. You can DJ the breaks of the band." So I got started with the kind of the corporate end of it as well. And it's just blossomed from there. Joining HSMAI was really good for the corporate. Joining NACE was good for the social events like weddings and things like that. So a lot of good groups out there to network. You got to get out and get your name known. So it just kind of spread from there. There weren't that many DJs around back in the early 80s. I took an ad out in the New Times magazine, and I created a new category called DJs. So I was the only one there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I know you're really good. And I know that you have to actually have a personality to DJ. I mean, look at you. Look at you.
Moving to the groove, getting
Whoa.
down. It's party time,
Turn that
ladies and gentlemen.
turntable. Yep. And there you are as well with
Wrigley
all
Mansion.
the equipment that you probably have to drag everywhere. But you are a showman. You are a showman, and I just adore you because of that. So that
Thank you.
That you're perfect for that. For some reason, I was probably across the street over at Channel 12 on Channel 3 while you were at the radio station. So it's eventually again our paths were meant to cross. So that's a good thing. Now, above and beyond just the career as a DJ, you have seen a lot of changes in the hospitality industry. And one of them seems as though the entertainment is changing along with it. Do you find that because of the pandemic that a lot of the events are moving possibly outdoors or outdoor space more, which remember back in the day, as a salesperson in a hotel, I wouldn't book outdoors because even in Arizona, I wouldn't book it because who knows it's going to rain or not. And that would spoil an event. But it seems as though clients are starting to take more risks to do more outdoors because of the pandemic.
You hit it right on the point, right on the head there, Deborah. Weddings, especially. I mean, we've had weddings. The farm at South Mountain is an outdoor facility. I mean, they do have a canopy tent, but it's essentially all outdoors. And a lot of the weddings have moved outdoors, even at resorts and such like that. They've moved outside on a big lawn, and they would have dinner on the lawn. El Chorro is an example. They'd have dinner on the lawn with Camelback Mountain in the background. They'd have the ceremony there, cocktails on the patio, and then reset the ceremony for dinner. And being outdoors is safer during COVID, no question about it, as opposed to being in even a smaller ballroom, which is kind of scary. I like the bigger ballrooms because there's just more space there. But the things outdoors, we've had weddings outdoors. Had a particular event, actually, want to throw this in there. In 1 week, about a month ago, I had 3 celebration of life parties. I haven't worked 3 celebration of life parties in my entire 40 years of DJing. I haven't worked that many, but I had 3 in 1 week. And the first one, I was outdoors, set up out there. The second one was for an umpire. Unfortunately, was umpire for girls softball and stuff. He passed away, but we were out there on the field at Kiwanis Park, and it was all outdoors. And kind of interesting to put the the mic stand behind home plate, and people would come up and give their, remembrances of the gentleman that passed away. There was another one at Sheraton Wrigleyville, and we were out there on the big patio out there that overlooked the Cubs, Sloan Park. Turns out the guy was a big baseball fan and such, but that was outdoors on a patio as well. So, but 3 celebration of life events in 1 week.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's crazy. That's nuts. So do you see a lot of the type of business shifting, just as that isn't a good example?
Well, we do so many social events, like weddings, birthday parties, things like that. This Saturday is going to be an 80th birthday party at a retirement center. That's going to be outdoors they have a common area out there. So that's an event, birthday parties. We still do those. I did a 50th wedding or a 50th birthday party for a gentleman's wife. It was at their home. They only had 10 people. So these closest friends in their pod, just them, beautiful house, came in for cocktails, had a little dining room. They went off and had their dinner, and the music wafted through the house and they could hear it for dinner. And they came back and they danced like crazy. Those types of events we're doing a lot of. Corporate, crazy, dead, essentially right now. You don't see much corporate at all. We're hoping that December it comes back, especially the annual holiday parties that are like clockwork. Every year they call, they want the same DJ back for their party. We have DJs working for us. They may be requesting that particular DJ, but we're hoping that December, part of the corporate surge will come back and the people will take a chance on having a party. I'm just thankful that all different events that I've done with total strangers, I mean, I stayed healthy. I didn't contract COVID or anything like that. So, of course, I'm very protective. I wear my mask. I don't know. Our DJ Marcus that you alluded to earlier that made a comment, he works at Villa Siena quite a bit. They put up a stanchion, like at the airport, when you're waiting in line for TSA and such.
Right.
He has these ropes right in front of him. He'll take requests by text. People will text their requests. So he maintains his distance quite a bit. Yeah. So
interesting. And as you mentioned about corporate, MPI Outlook just had their research released, and they were saying for Q3 and Q4, we'll see about 5% of corporate come back. But 2022, they said that's where it's going to really splurge, just shoot straight up about 46%. And then the interesting thing is in 2023, it's going to jump. It's going to go back down to about 26%. But that's probably because the corporate business is not being booked. But I think we're going to see a big surge in 2022. And I think what's slowing us down is probably the vaccines.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. I mean, people want to feel safe. People want to have peace of mind that they're not going to go to a convention and die.
Right.
This is life or death, for goodness.
Right.
So yeah, be careful. That's what it's all about. Yeah, so I do think though, as that Outlook was saying, the MPI Outlook, that 2022, it's all pent up. I mean, want to get together. Every convention I've gone to, I've learned something, and the networking is just totally amazing. Plus, typically you're at a very nice resort, so that's all.
Right. I know that does make a difference. Well, we've got Tony that's actually saying hello to you. Hey, it's Ray.
Hey, Tony.
And then we also got the entertainment. This, I would imagine you know who they are. They definitely know you.
1985.
Yeah, and Andy's here too, and he just asked that question. Andy, you and I were on the same wavelength, and Ray brought it up regarding the corporate, so that hopefully that answered your question. And look at this, you've got another Ray here. Rodriguez is here to say hello as well. Boy, you really have a lot of fans here. Now, we do have a question, though, which we can, I'm sure you can answer, and it's from Visibility Media. Have you done any virtual parties yet?
I did, well, yes, I've done a couple, actually. One was a virtual Name That Tune bingo. And my good friend Marguerite booked me on that particular gig. So that was interesting because you had to set up the Zoom and all that kind of stuff and play the music and have the music all cued and name that tune and people their bingo things. Luckily, Marguerite really set it all up. So I just had basically had to put all the music together, and she was controlling, keeping score and that type of thing. It was pretty automatic, but that was a bingo deal. I hosted or DJ'd for NACE, National Association of Catering and Events,
Right.
monthly meetings, because those were virtual.
Right.
Groups, whether it was wedding planners or HSMAI or whatever, we were getting together virtually. But I was playing music and making introductions. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of NACE, that type of thing. So I would do that.
Voice of God.
Ray Rodriguez that was chiming in there, he has taken it to a whole new level.
Yes, he has.
Virtual game shows.
Yes.
He does an amazing job at that.
Blast.
So he's
blast.
Mr. Virtual right now, Ray Rodriguez. The other Ray the DJ, Ray Rod, he'll do your virtual event. And also virtually, another big aspect of that is streaming wedding ceremonies specifically.
Okay.
Grandma, she's back in New York. She's in a home and she doesn't want to travel. She doesn't want to get on a plane, but she'd love to see the wedding. So it's being streamed. And there's companies out there that do the streaming of the ceremonies, and they're doing great.
That's a great idea.
Great idea. Pivot, flex, whatever you want to call it. And they've adapted. Me, not so much, because I'm doing so many weddings and they're coming back. I know they're going to come back. The corporate thing, like 2022, it's going to be the roaring 20s all over again. After the pandemic of 1918, the 20s, the people are going nuts. And that's going to happen. Mark my words, folks. The 20s will be roaring.
And I have to agree with you because you and I have been breaded for the face-to-face type of atmosphere. And when most speakers zig, I zag. And so I'm betting on more of the face-to-face than the virtual. But it's so nice to have that option, especially for grandma back in New York. I think that really, really makes a huge difference. Yes. And gosh, you've got fans all popping up in here. We've got Brenda saying, "Hey, Ray, you're looking good." And Dana as well. You've got some big fans here. I love this.
It's great to see y'all. Thanks for tuning in. This is a phenomenal show. You should come every week. You learn something. I've learned nuggets. Important. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great speakers and such. So tune in every week. Hospitality Today Live.
Oh, you're great. Now, I do have one question that's been kind of boiling inside of me is how have the budgets been for people when it comes to weddings or any other type of events that you've done? This has been, again, a very difficult year for everybody. Has the negotiating skills been putting you to the test?
Yes and no. There are some particular venues that you'll get a call for, and just the fact that they're having the wedding there at that venue, and the fact that they actually have a full-time wedding coordinator for the venue means they have a budget. So there you go. However, we'll get calls for, when's your wedding? It's next month. Okay. And how many people are coming? We're going to have about 45. Okay, so those are a little bit more negotiable. A wedding for 45 people in the backyard, that type of thing. And when you haven't had gigs, you'd rather be out making some money than sitting at home and watching reruns of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Not the truth.
So it's all supply and demand, just like any other business, all supply and demand.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we see a little bit of a increase of supply and demand this year. But again, I think everybody's going to be waiting until 2022 to really, and I think my thought process on that is because space is limited. Yes. Clients are out there looking for that space, and it has a lot to do with the fact that construction had slowed down in building ballroom space clear back to 2005, when ballrooms were not being built. And I get it as a salesperson. I never was able to sell a ballroom, as far as making money off of it. It always came free with, 100 or more rooms, that kind of thing. So I think a lot of hotels are getting rid of the meeting space, utilizing venues around town, including sports arenas, stadiums, which puts a lot of compression on those big events. So, there's that compression between the two. And I think a lot of clients right now are rushing to find those site selections right now. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough space-wise.
Yes, actually, those more popular venues, again, getting back to the weddings, our October is booked.
Is that right?
Really well. There's a couple of Saturdays in October that are really gone.
Wow.
We have all our DJs booked for those particular dates. And they want to be at El Charro. They want to be at Villa Siena. They want to be at the Camelback Inn. They want to be at the Sanctuary on Camelback. They want to be at the Royal Palms. And there's only so much space at those places. And they've been waiting to get married. My goodness, So those choice venues, there are many more, of course, but those choice venues are being booked. October's heavy booking right now. November. They're great weather months, to tell you the truth. October and November, excellent weather in Arizona.
Yeah.
And though, getting back to December, like, where are our holiday parties? Please come back. Please come back. So
right.
You mentioned the vaccine's going to have a lot to do with that. People want to feel safe getting together, and we want them to feel safe getting together as well.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And it sounds like you do most of your business locally. Do you ever travel for any events, or is it just when corporate comes up, or you're just busy enough to stay local?
Back in the day, when there weren't that many DJs around, I had clients. They flew me to Nassau, Bahamas. I did a gig there. I went to Puerto Rico. They flew me in. It was corporate. It was an incentive program. These are their top salespeople, and they want to reward them with a great trip. Particular meeting planner from Chicago, I mean, he took me wherever he went. So, I mean, we were at Lake of the Ozarks. We were in Florida. A lady would take me to their convention every year. It was East Coast, West Coast. So East Coast was Marriott Marquis in New York. I got to DJ there and stay there. We also were at the Del Coronado in San Diego. And then they switched back east. They would have it at a different place. And then coming back west again, it was at the Marriott in San Francisco, right down at the end of the cable car line. So, yes, I've traveled quite a bit internationally. But as time went on, they could find DJs there now that they trust. But back then, they didn't trust anybody local. I go to the Bahamas or whatever. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah. Forever to get a table to put your equipment on it. No problem, man. Yeah, well, you said that an hour ago. So it's kind of ballroom anywhere in the world, and you need the same things. You need a plug to plug into and such like that. But locally, obviously in town, Scottsdale's huge, and other places, and we travel up to Flag. Oh, you're getting married in August in Flagstaff? Tell you what.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there, baby.
Anything to get out of the Phoenix heat.
Yeah, anything. Anywhere but here in July and August, for sure.
Well, when you're busy like that, I would imagine your staffing is definitely has to be picked up. And Lynn Wellish, our good friend, asks, what is the process and training for you to take on a new DJ?
Well, they'll come with me to gigs, and they'll see the style, basically, how I do it, that type of thing. And I hire DJs that have experience already, and you get to know them on a personal level. And a lot of the hiring is done on the basis of integrity and character and honesty, and just a commitment to the job and the commitment to the happiness of the bride and groom. And there's so much of that. The trust level is I think, one of the most important things as far as the DJ goes. And as I mentioned, they'll come along with me to jobs. I'll send them with other experienced DJs that we have to see how they do it. And then I allow the DJs to have their personal style, though. I think that's important in any creative endeavor, is you allow the person to be themselves, to do things that they're comfortable with. I don't want to try to put everybody in the same pigeonhole. Like, this is always how we do it. Now, yes, there's certain things you always do. I mean, when you show up to an event to set up, you wear proper clothes to set up equipment. I mean, you're at this high-level 5-star resort, for goodness sake. Look professional. If the catering director recommended you for the job, well, you know what? They're our client. So you're part of the team at that particular hotel. How can I work with the banquet captain to make sure we know that the champagne is going to be poured at a certain time, when they're going to cut the cake, the communication with the photographer, the videographer, et cetera. Everybody's on the same page. So all of these aspects are extremely important. Most wedding receptions, they want to hear the music that they've requested. We have a great form they can fill out. It's the must play songs. We have to hear these songs, play if possible, and then do not play. We don't want to hear the Macarena. And I'm thinking, fine, I don't want to play the Macarena.
I love it. Well, do you actually have DJs that sing, according to what Dana wants to know?
Well, personally, I might sing in the shower, and I could sort of do a happy birthday. I can kind of do Acapulco. That's without accompaniment, by the way. But beyond that, I don't sing. No, you can ask anybody. I'm a DJ singer, and we had DJs in the past that have been able to carry a tune quite well. A couple people that worked for us that did karaoke, they would basically sing a song, and they could sing, but it's not something that we do a lot of. And also, too, don't forget the focus is on the bride and groom. A DJ singing a song, that puts the focus on the DJ. Are we here to celebrate the DJ and how well he can sing? No, we're here to celebrate the bride and groom. So everything we do complements the stars of the show. The stars.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Sometimes you have to keep those bridezillas and groomzillas in place too. So you got to do what you can, because they are your customer. There's no doubt about that.
Our client. Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of a good idea, because ever since that movie, The Wedding Singer, came out, that's a whole nother perception, right?
Do you really want to hurt me?
Don't even get started.
I won't.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know you have some takeaways to share that our viewers can embrace your brilliancy,
yes,
especially when it comes to the weddings market. Would you like to share a couple of those with us?
Yeah, one thing is getting back to our bread and butter. Now, I do the corporate, and I love the corporate, and I love the meeting planners, because they've got it all set up. We just need a DJ to be part of this humongous production. But getting back to the weddings, one takeaway is that love is not canceled. It may be rescheduled. The wedding may be rescheduled, but love is not canceled. People always fall in love, and they want to get married, regardless of the world situation. Look at the world wars. People that got together, they met in the war, for goodness sake, came back to the United States, and now they're husband and wife. So that urge, basically, to find your mate, basically, and get married, that's going to stay. Love is not canceled. So again, it may be rescheduled or postponed for the wedding, but people want to get married. So that's one takeaway right there that I have, and others as well. Eventually the Roaring 20s will be actually happening. That's what I'm saying is that again, when you look at history, and I think people should look at history more. What's similar to what we're going through right now is the 1918 pandemic that had hit the world. And once the 20s came, boy, they came roaring in the Roaring 20s. So I think we're going to have that again. I think more so in the 2022, but the inquiries for the weddings are humongous right now. I call it the bridal tsunami is what is happening. And but no, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna be fine eventually. I mean, tragedy has struck. People have died. Many people have died, and it's serious stuff. But again, love conquers all. Love will continue. Love will remain.
Yeah, those are three great points. And what a great career to be in of all time and for people to think about, because again, this is not our first rodeo that we've been through a pandemic like this before, but it's been a very interesting one to see what jobs have actually survived during this pandemic. And all I really see is my husband's construction job and your DJing job at this point. But we really appreciate that, those golden nuggets, because that is key. Love is always still in the air. There's no doubt about it. We have another question for you. This is great. I'm loving all of this. This one comes from Lynn Wellish. Do you have a system when someone, let's see, when some is like me,
When
not
someone
a
like me, it looks like.
do you have prearranged sets or suggestions?
Definitely have suggestions. Definitely have suggestions. That's what we do. I mean, we could take an event with 0 requests ahead of time and make it a party, man. You know, because that's what we do. We know what songs work. We read the crowd. We take requests from the crowd, that type of thing. But as far as prearranged sets, not necessarily. I'll be at an event playing a song. The dance floor is packed. Someone will come up to me and say, "What are you playing next?" And I'll say, "I'm not quite sure yet." Because even within the course of one song, it may look like this crowd on the dance floor wants to go to another song, another really high energy song at the beginning of the song. Midway through the song, you may see people going, and you can see that they're tiring out. And by the end of the song, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm danced out. So they've peaked out at that point. And then I will play a slow song. Give them a chance to basically catch their breath. Give a chance for maybe an older couple that's sitting off to the side a chance to dance, because the only thing they dance to is slow. So they're going to come onto the floor, and now the floor's packed with everybody dancing slowly. But prearranging everything, not really necessarily. There's some favorite mixes that I like to do, and this song will lead into that song quite nicely, and everybody will go, "Way!" You know, but not really. You don't pre-arrange an entire event. As a matter of fact, the wedding I just did on Friday, getting back to the weather outdoors, Desert Botanical Garden. Ceremony got through the rain. It didn't rain for the ceremony, but the reception was in a pavilion, Ben's Pavilion. It was covered, and during the reception, it rained. But the groom had asked me ahead of time, because they're from Tampa, or Champa, with all the champion sports teams there right now, Champa Bay. And he said, "Hey, Ray, can you basically record your entire set so that I can play it at the reception in Tampa?" We see a lot of that. They come out here to get married, and then they have another reception back where other relatives live. And I said, you know, it's hard to predetermine what to play at that particular moment at that particular party. It's a very unique situation. So I said, you know, I could do that, but I don't think it's going to work, because it's a different crowd. They may want another fast song, and then during the party I did that's already pre-recorded, they actually were dancing slow. And it's like, hey, wait a minute, where's the fast song? So I don't think presetting anything is the way to go. Obviously, you have the bases that you touch, first, second, third, and home is the first dance, the father-daughter dance, the mother-son. I mean, you have specific requests, but beyond that, you know what the bride and groom want to hear. You kind of stick with that and go in that direction, take requests from guests as it goes. Allow the party to take on its own personality. It's in progress. It's an artistic creation, really.
It really is. I have to agree with you. It's all about reading the audience, watching the facial expressions, making sure you take on the request that they want, because I mean, how disappointing if somebody requested something that they love to dance at and never get that opportunity. But to dance that all around what you have to do to please everyone, reading an audience is very tough to do. And I think you're right. It's definitely an art. And Dana believes that you are spot on about that. No doubt. And of course, we have our beautiful Joanne Winner that says hello to the best, which is Ray. Thanks, Joanne, for joining us, no doubt. And now that we've got caught up on those comments and questions, what do you feel, reflecting back to this year, who actually helped you the most while learning and growing throughout this whole uncertainty? Anybody helped you out a lot that you were able to learn and grow from?
I would just say my faith has helped me more than anything. I'm a pretty positive person. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life that faith has gotten me through those times, and faith gets me through these times.
Right.
And surrounding myself with people of similar views, basically. My wife, Barbara, and Brenda, who is our full-time person in the office. Now, we're very fortunate, okay? We have a very small office. It's just myself, Brenda, and my wife, Barbara. So we're a pod. And we continued business as normal. We didn't have to work from home, all right? So
Right.
just those two people right there, my wife and Brenda, have helped quite a bit, staying positive. We're going to get through it, and just always looking at the bright side. Well, yeah, okay, the wedding is canceled in 2020, but they're rebooking. It's not like we're losing the business. It's just moving to 2021. So,
Correct.
those two people, I think, my wife and Brenda,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of support from our DJs that work for us as well too. And I says, hey, the bridal tsunami is coming. There's pent up, and they're gonna want to party. So they've hung in there quite well too. A very good positive attitude all the way around.
Right, right. Anything that, reflecting back, anything you would do differently? Like, I know everything's been great for our business, and like you said, we can rebook it, but is there anything you would have done differently if you knew this was even happening?
I don't think so. During COVID, no matter what happens in your life, you need to stay positive. You need to have hope. And even throughout all the insanity of COVID, and it's just tragic, to tell you the truth, but I've always maintained a positive attitude. So I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I took the time that I had a lot of in 2020 to go through record albums and things like that. We sold, I think it was Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. It was in a plastic sealed deal. It was Mobile Fidelity Lab or something like that. So I bought it ages ago as kind of an investment. I sold that for $300, So it gave me time to go through old receipts, et cetera, from times past. Again, getting back to history, if you study history, you learn things. And if you study your own history of your business, you know what? You learn things too. So I was finding people from my past and wondering where they were today, and going on Facebook and, maybe reconnecting with a couple of people was pretty cool. So I made great use of my time to do things that I maybe normally wouldn't do.
Right.
Basically throwing out records from 1988. I mean, paper records is what I'm talking about. I mean, all stuff, Hey, I guess we don't have to save this for the IRS anymore. No, it's way past its expiration date.
So you're cleaning your closet out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, that sounds interesting, and a lot of people have been saying that. I wouldn't change anything. This was a growing time. It is what it is. If anything, we've learned how to deal with uncertainty. And hopefully, again, we've learned and grown from it, that when this happens again, and it will happen again, we'll be even more prepared. So to kind of close out today with you, Ray, this has been a delight. Is there maybe one piece of advice that you would like to share, whether it's from your personal or professional life. What would you like to share? What would that be for our viewers to hear?
I guess, again, always maintain hope, stay positive.
Yeah.
Turn your pains into gains, that type of thing. It's just no matter what happens to you in life, the great philosopher Charles Barkley, I believe, said that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think that's quite great advice for COVID. I mean, we're here talking to each other. There's people that are basically online as part of this program too. We're alive, folks. We're alive, folks. COVID didn't kill us. Hopefully, it's making us stronger. So we need to learn, from what we've been through. And again, how did we get through it? And stay close to family, stay close to friends. Again, our hospitality friends, my God, I mean, we're another family.
We are.
Our peeps. These are our peeps that many have lost their jobs and they haven't been rehired. And they're going through some amazingly tough times right now. So what are they going to do? A lot of people are selling real estate now or whatever. It's a great time to do it. But yeah, just stay positive. No matter what, reach out to your friends. You've got a friend, here I am. Just, you want to, I've had a lot of people call me, talk to me. Ray, what do I do? How are you handling this? How are you handling cancellations and such like that? Are you keeping the retainer fees? Are you keeping the deposits, et cetera, like that? And how's the, all that? But just stay positive. Put yourself in the client's shoes, for goodness sake.
Right.
And, look at what they're going through.
Yep.
So again, stay positive, have hope, have faith, and have love. The greatest of these is love.
That's right. That's right. That is all the almighty right there, is to spread that love and keep that love going. So that way, Ray Grace, the professional mobile DJ, keeps on giving. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Totally enjoyed having you. Your words of wisdom was watched by so many people here today. This is great. The support you have is a give back for your positivity. So thank you so much, Ray, for being with us. And I look forward to seeing you face to face real soon too.
Oh, Deborah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your show, which is just totally amazing.
It's been fun. You've been a blast.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye. Well, everyone, I hope that you really enjoyed my longtime great friend, Ray Grace. And having his grace with us today was even better than I ever expected. So the thing is, if you actually did enjoy this conversation that he and I had today, by all means, look at our Facebook page and our YouTube page. You'll be able to see it again. And we hope that you'll be able to share it with others as well. So thank you, Ray, again, for being with us. And I also want to thank our sponsor for this episode too, yardartgreetings.com. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please email us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. We welcome those comments, and we also welcome if you'd like to be on the show or know somebody that would like to be on the show as well. Now, next up, we want to let you know what is happening for next week. And it happens to be another great guest here on HTL. Her name is Erin Forrest. And now Erin is with Contemporary Resorts and Residences. Yes, like many in the hospitality industry, Erin was furloughed and then she was laid off due to COVID-19. And instead of waiting for the pandemic to be over, she decided to go out and get a job to utilize her extensive background and experience for a new type of hospitality world. So watch as Erin shares what happened when she lost her job and how she felt when she received the news, how she took her skill set from the hospitality hotel sector section and transferred it to benefit her today, and Also, we want to talk about what she discovered as the new future of our industry that any hospitality sector may learn from as well. Let's just say outdoors is the new cool trend. So be with us again next Tuesday, same time, same channel, and we'll actually get into diving into a whole new topic with Erin Forrest. So I'm Deborah Gardner. On behalf of our incredibly growing staff, I want to thank you. And remember, thinking about what we're being said here, well, we're going to be talking about it as well right here on HTL. Everyone, have a great week, and we will see you again next week.